Hello and welcome to another episode of the Final Siren with Duck and Oz. Back in the hot seat, Oz, I'm back.
Yep. You're the real Duck.
COVID's taken over my body and my soul,
Yeah.
but the Freo Dockers still have me, mate. And unfortunately, look, what's ended up being quite a pretty disappointing performance, especially after last week with the Freo Dockers going down 6-8-44 to the Collingwood Magpies, 12-8-80. And you know what, to Collingwood's credit, they brought their A game, they brought their intensity, and they just wanted it more. They're a bit more dog hungry.
Yeah, look, absolutely. And look, this afternoon I caught the Doctor Strange movie and the multiverse, and I feel like this is still part of that. Come down here in the rain, basically outworked. And look, to be honest with you, mate, I'm really disappointed. I'm sure the fans out there are really disappointed too. And normally we try and be a little upbeat, but it's really hard to take something positive out of the performance when I guess we can talk about certain things and possessions and who worked hard, but it was an opportunity to bounce back from last week where I thought we were sort of caught in the hop there in the rain against Gold Coast. But this week I thought, here's an opportunity to bounce back, and unfortunately just weren't able to do it today, mate.
Yeah, weird weather conditions, mate. Yesterday was fine and 25, sunny. I think that would have been a nice day if we played yesterday or last night. We probably would have got over the top of Collingwood. But look, sloppy conditions. And, you know, sometimes, and Nathan Buckley said it in the broadcast as well, sometimes the wet conditions, they talk about skill level, everyone's skill level drops, but the better players with the better skills kind of shine out in that time. And I feel like we just a bit sloppy with our skills, and a couple of guys were just exposed with that wet weather footy. And, you know, realistically, if you look at the team, I think that's just about the best 22 we could have running out, minus our captain, Nat Five. So, you know, a lot of work to be done, mate, and a lot of correcting to do. We've got, again, I think we've got... we go Melbourne at away and then Brisbane home. So first and second place at the moment. Look, and the Dockers are going to have a couple of big, long, hard look in the mirror, and, you know, maybe a couple of guys got a bit ahead of themselves, and maybe the team, you know, they're a young team, so you can sometimes, you know, you can drink your own bathwater. But this game that we play and the game that the guys play, you know, it's a game that if you're not on, you know, you're 2% off, you're going to get beaten. And I think, you know, apart from maybe one or two teams in the competition, it's a very even competition. I think, obviously, Melbourne are really good up the top, and then there's a couple of teams down the bottom that aren't very good at all. But everyone else can win on their day, you know. And I just think, you know, we've got to bring our A game day in, day out. And, you know, that's probably what J-Lo's preaching. And I remember last year when we went down in the rooms after round 2 and we had a really great win, and he was like, we can't be a team that has ups and downs. We've got to be consistent, and I think we had that consistency at the start of the year, but we've just we've had a couple of really big drop-offs. And, you know, the boys need to get back on the track. They need to work hard, and, you know, it's tough playing out there when it's wet, and, you know, you look behind us and that wing's just been absolutely chopped up. So, you know, we've got a lot of work to do, mate, and it's a winter game.
Yeah,
footy,
look,
so
it is, and slip and slide out there, and we know. But I guess one of the things, if you're going to talk about corrections from last week, I thought, you know, in terms of the clearances and centre clearances, is very even. If anything, we're on top there a little bit. In terms of our centre clearances, 11 to 10, and our clearances total down by 1. But it was just what Collingwood were able to do with the footy, and you alluded to that before, the idea of being smarter with it, and just a few things as well, Duck, that I really noticed, you know, the way they structured behind the ball, but just the 1%ers that they were able to do, like little flicks here and there, and the ball was able to bounce the right way, and sometimes that happens, but even smothers and tackles, and I think for Collingwood, that's their highest tackle count that they've had all season, and I guess if you're bringing that intensity and that pressure for 4 quarters, in the rain, it's going to hold you in good stead for the rest of the match.
Yeah. It was good quality wet weather footy, and they just hit us on the hop. Like, very similar to what Gold Coast does, and I think that's where the frustration comes from the fans. You know, like there was 35,000 here tonight. There was probably another, you know, 100,000, 200, 300,000 million at home watching. Probably a million watching us at the moment. But, you know, the frustration comes from, you know, if you make a mistake once, you're willing to forgive, you know. You're willing to forgive and go, oh, yeah, all right, there's a mistake. We didn't quite. But then we've done it again tonight. So, and I just think it is a bit frustrating. But again, it's a young side. Mm-hmm. I think sometimes we forget, because we've started so well, how young the side is for experience, through age, and we've got a bit of work to do still. You know, we're not at the mountaintop. We're not, you know, we have been preaching book the bus Flagmantle style, but you know, we've just had a little bit of a bump in the road, mate. A little bit of break on that. But hey, look, that's life and that's footy, and it's one of these games that is unforgiving. You know, that's the brilliance of footy. It's the beauty of it is that if you're not on and you're a couple % off, you're going to pay the price. Mate, I thought, you know, Steak Knives continues to show just absolute what a deal he is. 36 disposals and 11 clearances. Just
6 tackles.
Yeah, 6 tackles. Looked really good. I thought Jordan Clark probably played his best game for the club. 27 disposals and was actually quite clean down back. So, again, one of those guys who's got that higher skill level and was able to use it. But, look, mate, you know, there was a couple of things here and there that probably were a little bit, you know, it's unlucky, isn't it? Mason Cox gets injured and they replace him with a guy who ends up coming on and kicking 4 goals, and it changed their structure around and probably had a bit of a better structure suited for those conditions. So, look, those things happen. You've just got to react. You've got to compete. You've got to get back into the game. But, look, like we said, we haven't got many injuries. So, you know, blokes have got to be dog hungry for competition and spots. And, you know, there will be changes potentially starting next week. I know Peel didn't win, but they still had a number of really good contributors. And, you know, we got Nat Fife only a couple of weeks away. And, you know, having that bigger body midfielder and our leader back out there, I think it's going to be really important for the boys.
Yeah, look, definitely. We have the MCG specialist in Sam Sturt. I think the last time he played was at the MCG and he kicked 3 goals. But, yeah, just going back to what you're saying, we had our 5 leading goal kickers playing today, and having them all playing at the same time augurs well for the rest of the season, so it's good to see that. For me, it's all about pressure around the contest as well. And, you know, Sarong with his 30 disposals but 9 tackles was great. Switter had 6 tackles. Brayshaw or Tacklaw had his 5. And as you mentioned, Brody had 6. So there's enough pressure to suggest that, you know, most of the game plan is there. It's just a case of being cleaner, and particularly inside our 50, taking advantage of when we do go inside and locking it in and so forth. So, you know, who knows what happens next week? If it's dry, that's our type of football. So, you know, plus we might have a few changes to come, as you mentioned, but is it, you know, we go back to it's never as good, never as bad, but after those 2 performances, we want to make sure we get back on that bandwagon pretty quickly, mate.
100%, mate. All right, I reckon that summarises the game for this week, mate, but we're very lucky to have 2 special guests all the way from Kentucky, mate, the home of the Colonel, the home of... Bourbon? Yep. All right.
Kentucky Derby.
Derby. And
Lucky Strike won the Derby, is that right? Yeah.
Lucky Strike won the Derby.
There, yeah.
All right, mate. Jeez.
More responsibly.
Yeah, Jesus, bloody hell, mate. Yeah. You know, Kentucky Derby winners. But Greg and Katie, welcome to the final Siren. You know, what ended up being a pretty dockery performance, but how'd you find it?
It was a kind of dockery performance. We were joking around before that we're going to have to hit Mr. Alcock up later and hit him up for return tickets to get a win on the board. For you know, it's a long damn way. It took us 36 hours to get here, so it wasn't ideal.
So, Katie, you were saying before that you got over the jet lag, but...
Oh, I got over the jet lag. I'm just hoping that was all a bad dream, and any minute I'm going to wake up and we're going to be winning. Because how can we lose to Collingwood? How is this happening?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got to be the jet lag, guys. Any minute now I'm going to wake up. It's going to be okay.
Talk us about your support for the Freo Dockers, because, you know, obviously... This kind of time slot. Now, I read that you guys, you'd put the social media ban down.
Oh, yeah.
Don't know how you do that. But when do you watch games normally for a start?
Yeah. So I'm a night shift nurse.
Okay.
Right?
Oh.
So usually I time my schedule so that I work Sunday night, Monday night, Tuesday night. So then I've got Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And then I watch the Sunday games before we go, before I have to go to work. So typically we watch through the AFL app. The Watch app, and we watch as many games as we possibly can. Oh. Like, it's just, literally, if there's a game on, we're watching it.
Yeah, and we don't really care about the other games.
No,
we like seeing the Eagles getting beaten.
Yeah.
Like, really, that's a highlight for us. I'll almost set my alarm to see the Eagles get beaten, and then we've had to ban my mother, Jenny, who lives down in Yallingup, from having any contact with us on a weekend because she'll like just send a little hint like, did you watch the game yet? You really should.
It's a beautiful day and yelling up.
Oh my God. And my father is now just like, banned her from anything.
Because it's kind of like a delayed sports back in the day. And I remember
Yeah.
my old man used to listen to it on the radio and it'd be like on TV delayed. And I'd be like, don't even look at me. Like, because just
Right.
his look on his face would be like, yeah, like
give
he'd
it
be
away
like, oh,
immediately.
keep watching it. Like, just saying that. Just
No.
saying that, you
No.
know? So,
Oh, you really need to watch this game.
yeah.
Yeah, no, we watched, we have Instagram, Freo Dockers, everything, but you have to unfollow everything.
Yeah.
Oh,
All of the
no.
players, all along,
Oh.
so you can't see anything.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Hard work.
So I've got a question in terms of introducing it to friends and so forth. Do
Yeah.
you get people around and like watching the tape games or watching the app or whatever, or is it just it's really insular, like hardcore?
No, it's funny. When you do show it to Americans, they just are shocked by how physical it is,
Yep.
and all Katie's nurse friends are all shocked by how jacked the guys are.
They're just,
You know, it's so.
Freo has a huge amount of followers at
Yeah,
the
we're-
University of Kentucky Hospital.
Yeah, we're working on them, and we've got guys now that want to come and watch the footy with us. So
Yeah,
The
nice.
game sells itself. I
Yeah.
mean, phenomenal athletes, and the Dockers play with such heart. How can you
generally.
not love this game?
Yeah.
Did I say that out loud?
Yes, you did. We're all hearing it.
Sorry.
But it's an amazing, amazing game to watch.
Yeah, so like in our little town of Lawrenceburg, Kentucky, which is just outside Lexington, it's it's a rural community, and there's purple flags all over the place now, and a lot of
Not
they're,
kidding.
they're all part of the Purple Army in Lawrenceburg, Kentucky.
Kentucky
Nice.
Purple Army.
So what I'm hearing is if there's an end of season trip, Freo's coming over to your place. That's
Well,
What we're
what's,
hoping is it's going to be the new, I don't know, we need like a mid-season break training camp, because clearly we need to do something different. So just
Yeah.
come on over.
And there's
we'll
plenty
drink
of
some
bourbon.
on the
Yeah.
porch. We'll just cry it out and we'll start on over.
Yeah, we do a big group hug.
Yeah, big
Yeah.
group hug.
Well,
Well,
our-
they got a pet Schultze.
Oh yeah. Now, do you guys know about Schultze?
So we've
Yes,
heard there's a
yes.
couple of animals on the farm that are named after some people.
Yep.
Yeah.
So do you want to just lay us out on that?
Yeah, tell them
Yeah,
about
absolutely.
Schultze.
So, Lockie Schultz has been our favorite player since his debut.
Yep.
Like, he's just the kind of guy, he came on the field and he just looks like the fraternity boy that went, hang on, hold my beer, watch this, and just throws himself at the opposition and just gets it done and then goes back to having his beer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we got this dog, and he's just this barrel, and he just looks and acts like Lockie Schultz in his debut season. We're like, we've got to name the dog Schultze. That's just how it has to be, and he's lived up to his name.
Yeah, so Schultze, and then we got Bailey Banfield, the barn cat.
Right.
But he's not as fun as Duff and Court. Well, actually, Bailey Banfield gets it done because he's out like catching mice in some
mice.
field
Yeah.
somewhere. Duff and Quarters, the cats are just laying around in the barn, just
Waiting
waiting
for
to get
free
fed.
food,
They,
yeah.
they do nothing.
So yeah, so we got Schultze, Duff and Quarters, Bailey Banfield.
And the girls live in the purple and white chicken coop.
Oh yeah, and we had a chicken coop made, which is purple and white.
Oh, nice.
Oh yeah,
No.
that's the
The eggs
dog.
taste like victory.
Yeah, they do taste like victory.
They do. Well,
They'll-
maybe not
They'll be
today.
a little bitter
Well, they're
today.
Definitely. We're just
Yeah.
going to tell them to just let the eggs
So,
go today.
but our big grand plan is we're going. Well, no, in fact, Brett's already given us the go ahead. So
Yeah.
we're going to be the headquarters for the Fremantle Dockers in the United States is going to be in Kentucky.
Yep.
Fantastic.
And I think
Yep.
we'll have to get an official sanction or a certificate or something.
Oh, absolutely. Well, it's going to be the training camp.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we're very
Pre-season
excited.
training camp, maybe.
Yeah.
Remember
Oh,
that? They
yeah.
used to go to
Absolutely.
Utah and these
Utah and
things like that, get
Arizona,
high
yeah.
altitude,
Yeah.
but maybe they can go to Kentucky
Yeah,
instead.
it's
run around.
it's like that song "Friends in Low Places," you know.
Yeah.
So that's Kentucky.
So the size of your farm, huge.
Yeah. Big
Ba-
enough for the training.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
about 100 acres.
Yeah. Nice.
So people can run around there. They can play with the goats, do whatever the heck they want.
Yep. Tackle some goats. That'd be.
Yeah, very interesting.
They got
Now-
horns.
Slippery.
Yeah.
Now, Greg, you've got a bit of a background in footy. Do you want to talk us through that, mate?
Sure, yeah. So I was a broadcast with the ABC here, sports broadcast with the ABC, called WAFL. Obviously, worked with some amazing guys like George Griliasic, Ken Armstrong, Stix Brayshaw, guys from the West like Jeff Christian and those sort of guys. Called a bunch of grand finals, called very early Eagles. Was really fortunate to call a couple of State of Origin matches at the MCG with Smokey Dawson and Gordon
nice.
Bray. These guys are luminaries or legends of the broadcast world, and I was very lucky to know Dennis Cometti pretty well when he first left the ABC to go to sell out and go commercial. Did I say that out loud? When he sold out and went commercial, And Cometti is, one of those guys that is just the guy. Yeah. And when we walked up here, he is. And we were listening to the, I was listening to him call, I forget what grand final it was, but he is so good. And at the peak of his game, I don't think there was anyone better. And then I saw when we came up here, it's the Dennis Cometti, media suite, which I think is really super cool. But it's been a few years, but I tell you, your digs are a lot better than the ones we had in the back of Subiaco Oval.
Yeah, I was going to say, Subi Oval obviously wasn't the greatest oval of all time. How does this oval, like Optus Stadium, how does that, compare to, I guess?
Look, I've got to do my inside voice, but we used to have to pee in a cup up there and bring our own sandwiches.
Yeah.
Right, and that was the pinnacle of West Australian football.
Yeah.
And then when you went to Perth Oval or Fremantle Oval or any of that sort of stuff, it was literally you were in a wooden box broadcasting. There was no screens. It was all binoculars. If you missed it, you missed it. And you made it up if you didn't see it, sort of thing.
Yeah.
But now everyone sees everything. But I tell you, this stadium is just extraordinary.
Yeah, there's definitely not a bad seat in the house.
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
We've been to stadiums all over the United States, NFL stadiums, basketball stadiums and stuff. Yeah. And this is on par, if not, I think this is better than most stadiums we've ever been to.
Yeah.
Now, not to put you under any pressure or anything, mate, but have you thought about doing some commentary over there? Maybe...
Funnily enough, we were actually talking about it with Quarters just last night.
Yeah.
Is we would love to get like a little... what we'd love to do is launch some sort of show where we could try and bring the American audiences in. One of the guys, and his name escapes me right now, played for Freo, was a kicker for University of Kentucky.
Oh, Max Duffy.
Max Duffy, yes.
Yes.
So we could bring Max in.
Yep.
He lives not far from us.
Hey.
So we could have this little show going on.
Yeah.
And I think it'd have some legs.
Nice.
Definitely.
So you Wildcats lovers?
I was in
UK
the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, Wildcats in Kentucky.
Yeah.
They're like it's all Wildcats in Kentucky. There's apart from bourbon and horses, there's really only the UK Go Cats.
Yeah.
Oh mate, I'm just in awe, and it's such a lovely voice as well. But look, I guess is this the first time you've been back since the COVID restrictions have been lifted?
It is. So I haven't been back home. We're going down to see my folks tomorrow in Yallingup, and it's great to be back, and it's just such a great place to live and be. Like the weather yesterday was amazing. Yep. The weather today was really kind of crappy, but it was all sort of hand in glove with the rest of the day.
Yeah.
But it's remarkable being back, and we're looking to be back a lot more now that COVID's over, because that was tough.
Yeah.
You talk about the players that can't. That get sort of agitated or miss their family and they don't go back for 6 months or 12 months. Well, we've been away for 2.5 years.
Yep.
And, that's kind of tough.
Yep.
Now, Katie, just being an American, how long did it take you to kind of get used to this game of Aussie rules, which essentially is extreme pass the parcel with a goal here or there? Did it take a while to get used to it and be like...
Still not used to it.
Yeah.
Still doing my best, but I learned from my mother-in-law and my husband, all I have to do is watch the game and you just start yelling things until something sticks. So it's like, in the back, doesn't have it, holding the ball. What is the other thing that we always say? In the back.
Too high.
Too high.
Deliberate. That's always a good one.
Deliberate. That's a
and
new
you
one.
just keep shouting
Doing it all
something,
day.
and then something's going to happen.
Because,
and you're like,
it honestly is.
I knew it.
It's a game in which, like, sometimes we don't know the rules as well.
You have to know exactly what it is, and it has to be exactly right, and then we're going to litigate it. We'll probably see you in court and talk about it for the rest of the year, right? You guys, like, there could be a different call, and then it's just wrong, but you just get over it and just move on.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's still taking some adjustments, but man, what a phenomenal game.
Yeah.
Love it so much.
It really
has gotten us through COVID. Seriously, if we just had a horrible week, we had footy to look forward to.
And bourbon.
And
Footy and bourbon.
Footy and bourbon. When the Dockers were not playing well, then it was footy and bourbon and then some more bourbon.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it got us through.
It did.
It did.
Yeah, look, footy's an amazing sport. I remember the GF in 2013. My brother and I went we didn't know anyone. We just went down to the grand final parade and bumped into an American who made his way over from the West Coast, Gil Griffin. Shout out, Gil. How you going? And just out of nowhere, just started talking, and boom, next thing you know, found out he was a teacher, took my high school basketball team over to play his high school. Footy's just an amazing sport where you just connect. And I think it's awesome that all the way from Kentucky, we have you here today to talk about, it was a cactus game, but to talk about football and to talk about the club that we all love. It's just amazing.
Well, and the Dockers, I was fortunate back in '94, I guess. I attended the launch event for the Dockers down at, I think it was called the Woolsheds down at Fremantle.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
I was there.
Nice.
I was a promotions manager at Swan Brewery then.
Yourself a little bit.
I know, God.
Just a little bit.
And so we were there, but I'd never seen the Dockers play live.
Yeah.
Right. So this was the first opportunity to see them play live, and I kind of wish I had to come next week, but. It was just phenomenal to be, think back to 1994, and then you're actually here at this amazing venue. Yep. The club, to me, and we're very from the periphery, from the outside, the club just seems to have a soul and a heart.
Just plays with heart. Just at the end of the games, the way that the guys treat each other. You lift one another up, give them a pat on the back. It just really comes through as a team that supports one another. And even when they play, not the best, not ideal.
Not ideal.
Not ideal. Yep. Not ideal. Now,
it's good.
We usually finish the pod by asking the players who's the weirdest unit at the club. But why don't you guys have a guess? So what player do you think's a bit of a weird unit? Do you reckon?
Good question.
Or who's the player
Do
who?
you guys have nicknames for all the players?
Oh yeah, big time. Who's the best nickname that you've got? Give us your best nickname.
We can't really
say some. So some of them we can't say. We're going to keep it between us.
So my
Couple bourbons and we
favourite
get very
personal
creative.
nickname was my dad used to call Clive Waterhouse Anne, who's my mum's name, because Clive Waterhouse up and down, and you'd scream at him and as a great gag. But it's always good to have your own personal favourite. But who are your favourite players? Obviously, other than Lockie Schultz.
Got to be Lockie.
Number one. Sammy Sweat.
We're big fans of Sammy.
Sammy Sweat, Caleb Sarong, so right. I mean, how could you not love Caleb Sarong, so right? Seriously?
We should stop saying that, because every time someone says Sarong, I'm like, so right.
Sarong.
It's really kind of annoying.
It's just what he does.
The guys in our back line are just, we just love those guys, Alex and
Tabby Cat, can we say that?
Oh, yeah. We call Tabby, he's Tabby Cat.
Tabby Cat.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's a good
Good
one.
to see Tabby Cat back today.
So
Was.
good to see him back. I wish he had a little bit more of the ball and did something with it.
But Tabby Cat. But I think the one that talking about Tabby Cat, I think he's probably one of the more unusual fellows in the team.
Well, I mean, as you may or may not have watched this great production before, we asked the players, and dead set, we've had 2 players not say him within a heartbeat. Like, it's honestly like, who's the weirdest player? And they're like, Tabs. End of, and like he must be one of the all times, and we can't wait to get him on the
You want to have a bourbon with him. You just want to
it.
have a bourbon with him and just see what happens. Just let's have a talk.
Who else would be a weird unit? I don't know.
But I think Schultze got put up there by one of the boys.
Really?
Schultze was a bit weird, and O'Driscoll as well, Driz.
Driz is
Really interesting unit.
Well, the good thing is, if you had...
calling him Pockets?
No, I don't know
O'Driscoll.
what we were calling
Yeah, because
him.
he was always kicking him from the pocket.
Yeah,
Just nail
but
it.
the good thing having Schultze over is that he can be as weird as you want, but if your taps clogged up, he can sort that out for you.
Exactly.
So it's like an added
He's a
bonus.
Renaissance man, thanks.
You need someone to fix a U-bend, And like when you think about it, during COVID, he did go back and work.
Right, I read that. That was
I
crazy.
love that
How good is
about
that
him.
story?
He's so real.
He's probably got the snake in the back of the ute.
Yeah, get in there.
Gets that bad boy down there. Everything's unclogged in a second.
All right, guys. On that note, I think that's the best place to finish there. Thank you very much. We've been the Final Sun. We're Purple Rain. We're at Purple Rain 95, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We do a show every Monday if you'd like to listen to that. We've got plenty of listeners' questions and things like that. Once again, Greg and Katie, thanks a million for coming over.
Thank you, guys. It's been an absolute pleasure.
It's a long trip, but and it didn't quite live up to expectations. But you know what?
Still love the Dockers.
That's what we're all about.
Oh, yes. And just in case you haven't seen, thank you to the club and Michael Walters.
Michael Walters and Peter Farmer Jr.
Yeah.
Designing this absolutely awesome
amazing.
Indigenous jumper.
Yeah.
And again,
Available for sale?
Sir Doug Nichols round, and we've got the lovely scarves there as well that you
These
guys are
scarves
wearing.
are great.
Beautiful.
So,
Yeah.
so Doug Nichols around and the amount of work that this Fremantle Football Club does in the community and the work they do with Aboriginal people, fantastic. It's a big passion of mine, and I absolutely love it. And the fact we've played one game without an Aboriginal person in our whole history in 1995.
Get out.
One game, that's
One game.
it. That's all it is. And that game, I wish we could go back and maybe make some changes, but that's the case. But one game in the history, and you think of people like Jared Neesham and the work he's done with the Clontarf Foundation and setting that up, and what an impact that's had on a lot of Aboriginal boys that go to school. I used to work there for the Clontarf Foundation. It's a fantastic, fantastic group, and you just you have to be pretty proud of the AFL and the Freo Footy Club in particular.
Yep.
But that's a better note to end on than an S-Bend.
Yeah.
Fixing up an S-Bend. All right, guys. Remember, again, Purple Rain. We are Purple Rain 95, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We record on Mondays. Thanks for listening. Subscribe, rate, and review.
Yeah.
Subscribe to the YouTube as well. Click the like button. Bing. Click the bell. Hey, I've been watching YouTube videos. I see that people do that. All right. Thanks, guys.
See you later.